Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 11th October 2021. In this lecture, we are going to see 6 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see the list of the topics. First one, it is about Ashish Mishra sent to 14-day judicial custody. So if you have seen yesterday's prelims paper, so one question regarding this judicial custody is in news. So I always and repeatedly saying you so if you see the title of any article, you have to know important keywords. So based on this keyword only, the question which is mainly came in UPSC. So in 2020, because of this Sushant death case, Riya Chakrabarti sent for this judicial custody. So because of this, there was question in your yesterday's paper regarding this judicial custody. So I am repeatedly saying whenever you are reading any title of a newspaper article, you have to think about in which dimensions we can think. So every time I am saying that, and this is the right approach for UPSC. And this is important from our polity, and we are going to see yesterday's question also. And next one is studies sought into rabies deaths despite vaccination. So this article mainly talking about rabies death, even though after taking this vaccination of this rabies, so there is a deaths which are mainly seen due to this rabies. So this will be important from our health. And next one is about our Air India. So till now I didn't cover this Air India topic. So we are going to see this topic in very great detail. So this will be important from our governance point of view. And next topic is about India-China discuss disengagement. So this topic is old topic, but there are new developments. We are going to discuss that. That will be important from our international relations point of view. And next one, it is about 3 metros witnessed faster COVID-19 spread. One important study says. So this will be important from our health. And next topic is about QES data which released by Labour Bureau. So this will be important from our economy. So these are the topics we are going to discuss. And now let us try to talk about yesterday's prelims question paper. So actually, if I want to say the difficulty level, it is moderate difficulty. So one unexpected thing I found personally in that paper is regarding current affairs. So questions are very difficult and they covered last I think 2 years or 3 years prelims, 3 years current affairs, and they also asked about sports current affairs. Actually, this is a one unexpected thing. So since 1995 onwards, there was no sports related current affairs questions that appeared in prelims. For the first time, we saw this sports related, even cricket related question, and even one award of 2000. So these are some unexpected things, and the difficulty level of this current affairs is very tough, right? And one more thing I want to say here is whatever the things we discussed from our background. So we are connecting this current affairs with background everywhere, right? So wherever it is possible, I am trying to connect this current affairs in news with background, and from background there are many questions that appear directly what we discussed. And even some current affairs topics we discussed that also appeared in this year's question paper. So now let us try to see those topics. So regarding inflation, so whenever any topic, any current affairs which appear in inflation, I will try to discuss about what is inflation. So what are the types of inflation? So what are the measures will be taken and what will be the impact? So from this impact, so there were 2 questions which appeared in this year prelims. And next one is RBI governor. So whenever we are discussing about RBI, we will discuss about the background, and from that background facts. So we got this question. And next one is about, we discussed about this EPFO, that is casual workers, especially we discussed one editorial. So from that question appeared. And next one is about economic recession. So in one topic I discussed about what is this economic recession of 2008 and what is impact, right? So from that question appeared. And next one, it is about market demand. So whenever we are talking about the trends of, for example, we can say like number of reports like purchasing manager index, and whenever we are discussing about demand in the market, so we already discussed about some important facts. So from that basic static question which appeared. And this one is about FDI, foreign direct investment. So we discussed this foreign direct investment many times, and from that topic question appeared. And next one is I gave you I gave you one homework like, so what is this appreciation and what is this depreciation, right? So I said that topic is very important, and from that we came up with this. Even we discussed about what is the difference between depreciation, appreciation, not at that time but before lectures. And also we discussed about what is a devaluation of currency and what is the difference, okay, and what is the impact of devaluation. I discussed, I think so, 6 months ago. And next one is about black money. Yes, we discussed about what is this black money and what will be the effect of black money, right? And we also discussed about what is this money laundering, hawala transactions, etc. as well. And next one, it is about Forest Rights Act. We discussed number of times, and I said that this topic is very important from your anthropology students as well. So from this anthropology point of view as well, this topic is important. And one simple question, which ministry, right? So that question which mainly appear, and it is very, very easy. And next one is about Moringa and Tamarind. So especially I took this Moringa and Tamarind related articles from PIB. There is increasing of exports of this Moringa leaf and as well as Moringa seeds to other countries, and I included in our daily current affairs PDF as well. And next one is about vaccines. We discussed about this recombinant vector vaccine number of times, especially in the month of December, I think so. And next one is about adenovirus. So we discussed, I think, more than 20 to 30 times regarding this adenovirus, which is a common cold causing virus, and it is one of the vector which is mainly used in preparation of this COVID-19 vaccines. And this one is permaculture. So I took this article from Down to Earth especially, and I included this article in our daily current affairs PDF. And this one is palm oil. We discussed this topic recently, right? And this one is about water efficient crop. So whenever we are discussing about crops or diversification of crops, we need to move from water intensive crops towards water less intensive. So in that example, I said that water intensive crop, it is sugarcane, and the direct question is there here in this paper. And next one is about ACU ACE2 inhibitor. So if you're talking about this COVID-19 virus, we are having the spike proteins, right? So these spike proteins mainly attached to these ACE2 inhibitors, and they will enter into our body and start replication. So we discussed about this diagram, and I draw this type of diagrams number of times in our Hindu analysis. And this is a very simple question, ACE2 inhibitor which is related to virus, okay, virus causing diseases. And next one is blue carbon. So I will give you one idea where we discuss this topic. Here is first one, it is about carbon sinks. So whenever we talked about this carbon sinks, because of this forest fires, carbon sinks are decreasing, and at that time we discussed about this other carbon sinks like ocean. So carbon which is mainly related to this ocean and as well as marine ecosystem, that is called as blue carbon. So we discussed that. And even when we discussed about this black carbon, so I think in Sunday's newspaper we studied about this black carbon. So because of this black carbon, there is increasing of glacier melting is happening. At that time also we discussed about this topic. So these are the some topics already we discussed in our Hindu analysis, and this year prelims mainly proved that, so whatever the approach we are following, like we are reading current affairs and we are connecting with our background or with our static syllabus, this is a right approach to appear this UPSC. So I am very, very happy to say this, that whatever the approach we are following, it is apt for UPSC preparation. And there are also three questions, previous questions repeated here. So first one, it is about money multiplier effect, which is about our economy. And next one, it is about right to privacy. So when this right to privacy judgment of K.S. Puttaswamy that came in year, so in that year we saw this same question. So under which article right to privacy is included, that is article 21. And I repeatedly saying in our Hindi analysis that, so this right to article which is part of our article 21. Okay, so this is a previous question, and also one article regarding constitution as well. Okay, so these are three important prelims questions, and I will try to find the links, but it's a very, very difficult task, because if I want to search all these 1 year's or 1.5 years current affairs videos, and if I want to search those time stamping, it is a very difficult task. But I will try my level best to show wherever I discuss these topics. Okay, so in this way it will helps you to build trust between me and you. Okay, So I'm very happy, and this year paper it is moderate level, but from current affairs it is like disappointing thing. And also if you see from polity you got a very simple and easy questions, and that are directly from Lakshmikant. So most of the questions I already covered in our Lakshmikant polity lecture series actually. So till constitutional bodies I covered. So from that topics many questions that appeared regarding citizenship, and also regarding what is the definition of a state, that will comes under article 12, and even in preamble one simple question like status of our India in 1950, right? That is a socialist. Actually, from 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, 2 words socialist and secular they added. So if you remember, if you remove that, socialist democratic republic, it is our status. So that way, very simple questions, and even the question from judiciary like acting judges and even judicial review. So we discussed everything in a very great detail in our polity Lakshmikant. So most of the questions from the polity are very easy and very direct. And even from and one more thing I observed in this year's paper is science. So many students they will leave this 6th to 12th NCERTs, but you got some basic questions from general science. For example, why all the substances they are mainly dissolving in this water? Because of this dipolar nature. That means we are having H plus ion and as well as OH minus ions. So because of this positive and negative charges, that is dipolarity, so we see most of the substances dissolve in this water. And even one question about pressure cooker. So this is from your general science. And from environment also there are some questions like they gave some examples, so that is somewhat hard, but concepts are very easy. And from geography you got basic questions, and I dealt many of those questions in our Indian geography series. And one more thing is regarding economy you got a very basic questions. So apart from this current affairs and history you got difficult questions, so you can remove history and current affairs. And apart from this, from polity, from science and from geography and economy you got basics questions, and they are very easy to answer as well. And mostly you can eliminate if you follow this elimination techniques, and you can eliminate two options easily. Okay, so from these remaining two options you can select the answer, or choose the option, but it is somewhat we can get 50% of chance to get correct, right? So here the level is moderate level, it is not that much difficult. Only from current affairs and Indian history there are unpredictable questions that appeared. Okay, so this is about this year's prelims. So I'm very happy for this year prelims, because most of the questions and most of the background that we discussed that appeared in this year prelims. And I'm very happy that whatever the approach we are following, it is a good approach. And I want to share this thing with you. And now let's come back and let us see first topic. It is about Ashish Mishra sent to 14-day judicial custody. So always I will be saying, and now also I am saying that whenever you are seeing any title of the article, so if there is any keyword which is related to our syllabus, please try to know what is the meaning of that. So in this way you will get clarity regarding the topic, and also sometimes questions may be asked. So this year prelims mainly shows it mainly gives example of unpredictable nature. So no one predicted that questions will be coming from sports. Okay, and no one expected that questions will be in that difficulty level from Indian history. So highly this exam is unpredictable. So no one can predict. So now let's come back to this judicial custody. So this will be important from our GS paper 2, that is from polity. So if you're talking about context, it mainly says that Ashish Mishra, he is the son of Union Minister. Union Minister's son sent to 14-day judicial custody by a local court after he was arrested in connection with October 3rd violence in Lakhimpur Kheri district. So here this person mainly sent to this Lakhimpur Kheri district. Why? What happened in this? So already we studied that in UP, in this Lakhimpur, whenever the farmers are doing protest against this farm laws, violence happened, and in that violence 8 people they died. So in this incident it is mainly linked to this person. So because of this, local court ordered to arrest this person. Okay, so mainly local court ordered that this person should be kept under 14 days judicial custody. So if you see details, it mainly says that Mr. Ashish Mishra is named the accused in the murder case lodged by farmer after cars belonging to his father convoy ran over these protesting farmers on October 3rd. On October 3rd, what happened? So his father's convoy, so cars mainly belonging to his father's convoy mainly passed, okay, mainly moved through this protesting people. So because of this, that led to death of 8 people. So 8 persons died in this incident and 4 farmers and 3 Bharatiya Janata Party BJP workers including driver and as well as local scrape, they mainly lost their lives. So here, whenever you are talking about custody, you will come across 2 words. First one is police custody and second one it is judicial custody. So first one is police custody and second one is judicial custody. So what is the meaning of this police custody and what is the meaning of this judicial custody and what is the difference? You have to know. So police custody means mainly person confined at a lockup or remains in the custody of the officer. So after arresting so and so person, within 24 hours investigation should be done, and also this person need to be present before the magistrate court, okay, within 24 hours. It is a mandated thing. It is about this police custody. And if you are talking about this judicial custody means person is detained under purview of judicial magistrate. Okay, he will be under the purview of judicial magistrate, and judicial custody will be extended to 60 to 90 days. But here police custody will be 24 hours, that is 1 day. But here judicial custody, it can be extended till 60 days to 90 days here. So this 60 days to 90 days will be dependent on maximum punishment, depending upon the maximum punishment which mainly prescribed to whatever the offence they done. So here under this judicial custody, under trial persons, they cannot remain in this judicial custody beyond the half the time period of prescribed maximum punishment. So for example, if we done any offence but it is not proven, that means he mainly under trials. Okay, so in under trials, for example, for that offence it will be like punishment for 7 months of imprisonment means. So under judicial custody it should not be more than half the time period, that is not more than 3.5 months, 3.5 months. And if you are talking about one more important point between this difference between this judicial custody and police custody here is, so time limit here is 24 hours for police custody, and for judicial custody maximum period is 60 to 90 days. But here under this police custody they can go for investigation, questioning, etc. But under this judicial custody, so here jail authorities, they need to take compulsory permission from the court to conduct investigation or questioning. So this is some important difference. And now let us see yesterday's prelims question regarding this judicial custody. So with reference to India, consider the following statements. So first statement is judicial custody means an accused is in the custody of concerned magistrate and such accused is locked up in police station, not in jail. But here judicial custody means the detained person, not accused person, right? So detained person, he is in the custody of concerned magistrate and he will be kept under jail itself. And next one is during judicial custody, the police officer in charge of the case is not allowed to interrogate the suspect without approval of court. Yes, here whenever we want to go for interrogation or questioning of so and so person, so we need to take permission of court for sure. Without court permission, we cannot go for interrogation. So this statement is correct. So here demand is you need to identify correct statement. So correct answer here is B2 only. So in this way, you can expect questions in prelims. Okay, based on the keywords which we see in our titles of news. And now let us see next topic. Title says studies sought into rabies deaths despite vaccination. So this article says that even though we had this vaccination against this rabies, so we are seeing the rabies deaths that are happening, and this is study mainly seen in state of Kerala. So now let us try to focus on what is this rabies. So this will be important and you need to know whether it is a viral infection or whether it is a bacterial or whether it is any protozoan. So if you see context, it mainly says that a proper study has been sought into recent deaths due to rabies among people who are vaccinated against infection. So recent study says that already who had got vaccinated against this rabies. So we saw there are recent deaths that mainly occurred due to this rabies. So if you're talking about details, before that I want to give you one important dimension here. So what are the loopholes in this vaccination? So you have to think in this dimension. So this will be helpful to write your mains answer. And if you see details, it mainly says that rabies is a fatal infection in which chances of death are 100%. It is a fatal infection. So whenever the bite which is happening around our head and even neck, then what happened? The fatality will be very high. Because whenever the bite which is happening around our neck or in our head areas, so it will affect our brain very fast than the dog bite which is happening in any other areas of our body. So if it is happening around our neck and head, the fatality will be very, very high. Okay, chances of death is very high because of fast infection to our brain. And if you see this vaccine, so rabies vaccine gives full protection only 14 days after it is administered. That means within 14 days of administration of this vaccine, if there is any dog bite which is infected with this rabies virus, then that will lead to increase in fatality rates. And the serum in the meanwhile which ensures temporary protection. So what happened after this rabies infection, that is dog bite which is mainly infected with this rabies, so serum will be given, right? So serum will contain antibodies. So antibodies which mainly fight against this rabies virus, but it is a very temporary protection. Okay, so this is about some important details. So these are details which I found important from our UPSC point of view from this article. And now let us try to focus on background. So rabies is a viral disease. Rabies, it is a viral disease which mainly spread through animal bite such as dog. So apart from this rabies will be mainly infected or caused by even other animals. So you have to remember that not only dog but even through rabbits, through cats, foxes, etc. we can see these virus will be transmitted to humans. And whether it is an animal to human transmission, whether it can be transmitted from animals to animals also, yes, this is also possible. So here this infection will also seen whenever the infected dog bites another dog. An infected dog bites the humans. Okay, so in this way, both the ways it is possible. So this rabies mainly caused by viral infection, that is rabies virus. So this infection mainly leads to encephalomyelitis. So this encephalomyelitis condition, we can say the inflammation, okay, inflammation of brain and even spinal cord that is seen. So because of this reason, that will lead to increase in fatality rate, and fatality rate is 100%. And the transmission of virus happens through saliva of dog. So in saliva of dog, this rabies virus is present. Whenever dog is bitten, then the saliva will come into our body, so such that will lead to transmission of this rabies virus from infected dog to humans. And here in this way, this virus mainly affect our central nervous system. Central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord. So this virus mainly belongs to family that is Rhabdoviridae family. And this the infected animals mainly includes dogs, rabbits, cats, foxes. They have capability to transmit this rabies virus to humans. So why we need to talk about this rabies? Because if you see data, every year usually throughout worldwide per year, about 24,000 to 60,000 deaths are mainly seen due to this rabies. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says India-China discuss disengagement. So this article mainly talking about disengagement round talks between India and China. So if you see background, so India-China sharing boundary. So we are having this line of actual control between India and China. So what happened across this LAC since 2020 May, April onwards, we are seeing standoff, military standoff. and this military standoff that also led to Galwan Valley area. So majorly they occupied Pyongyang-so area and even Gogra Hot Spring, Demchuk and as well as Dipsang Plains and even some patrolling points. Right? So after a certain level of talks or certain rounds of talks, we came up with some disengagement, especially in this Pyongyang-so area, Gogra area. Right? And now we are going to see what is this round of talks mainly talked about and what are the important developments in this disengagement process. So this will be important from international relations, which mainly comes under our GS paper 2. And now let us try to talk about context. If you see context, it mainly says that India and China, they came up with this 13th round of Corps Commander talks at Moldo. So where is this Moldo located? It is on Chinese side. And this 13th round of this Corps Commander level talks, they mainly focused on third phase of disengagement, and they are mainly focusing on this patrolling point 15, which is mainly located in this hot springs. Okay. So here we are mainly going for overall disengagement and de-escalation process across this line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. So if you see some details, it mainly says that disengagement and de-escalation. So in this disengagement and de-escalation process, two sides, from Indian side and from Chinese side, we agreed to work out new protocols, especially for patrolling in these areas. Okay, mainly to avoid such type of incidents like Galwan Valley incidents to reoccur. Okay, so this is the first important thing. They mainly going to work out on new protocols, especially for patrolling in this area. And next one is, since the standoff that began in May 2020, two sides they have held a series of levels of talks. Okay, so we have different levels of talks, both at politically, diplomatically and even militarily. So as part of these arrangements which have reached, and we came up with disengagement in this Pyongyang-so Lake area and even patrolling point 17 at Gogra area in August. And now we are mainly going to talk about this Demchok and as well as Dipsang Plains area. So if we are talking about Demchok, it is one of the two mutually agreed disputed areas in eastern Ladakh. And if you are talking about this Dipsang Plains, it is one of 8 friction points in this area. So first one is Dimchak, it is one of the two mutually agreed disputed areas. And if you are talking about this Dipsang Plains, so they are one of the 8 friction points in the area. So if you are talking about this Dimchok, so here there are claims in this Charding La area. China has set up tents on this side of this Charding Nala. So here regarding this Dimchok area, Chinese PLA, that is People's Liberation Army. So this Chinese army mainly set up the tents, and they are mainly set up their tents on this Charding Nala side. So here we want to go for this disengagement in this Demchok and as well as Dipsang Plains. So here Dipsang Plains are very important for India strategically. So now let us try to see map. So where is this Demchok area is present and as well as where is this Dipsang Plains are located. So apart from that, we need to focus on this geography of this Dipsang Plains and how these Dipsang Plains are strategically important and what are the reasons why Chinese occupied this Dipsang Plains. So you need to know about these topics. So if you are talking about these Dipsang Plains, they are located in western Ladakh area and it is about 972 square kilometers and they are located at a height of 16,000 feet. Okay, and next one is these plains are bordered by Aksai Chin which is present towards northeast, and towards the west we have this Siachen Glacier. So here we have this Dipsang Plains. So why they are called as plains? So as you all know that Jammu and Kashmir Ladakh area, which is mainly located in this Himalayan region. So why we are saying that is plains? Okay, you might be having this doubt. So why these Dipsang Plains are called as plains? Because what happened, this is a kind of desert which is present here, and here in this area which is nothing grows here, and it is also inhabitable for humans due to high altitude. So these Dipsang Plains are one of important strategic location, especially for India, which is located in this Ladakh. So if you are talking about reasons why this China occupied this, because China, which is successful in controlling, if China, which is very much successful in controlling of this Dipsang Plains, it will have direct boundary link with Pakistan. So it can increase link with Pakistan. Okay, and here in this way, whenever it is having link with Pakistan, it can also invite this Pakistan military to fight against India as well. So this will be one important advantage for China. And next one is, these plains are very near to India's airstrip, that is Daulat Beg Oldie. So we came up with this recent infrastructure project, that is Daulat Beg Oldie Road. Okay, it is a road link which mainly connects Leh with this Daulat Beg Oldie. So here it is mainly helpful mainly to connect Leh here. Okay, so because of this road route, it is very important. And whenever China which is occupied, this means, so this then what happened, this area which is very much important for India to connect Leh, so here this can be under control of China. And next one is, Dipsang Plains also connects Karakoram Pass. So it is one of the important area for India's security as well. So if India loses the Dipsang Plains, then it would not able to keep watch on this Karakoram Pass. So these are the strategical advantages if China occupies this Dipsang Plains, and this will be disadvantages for India. So now let us try to look over the map. So here we have this Dipsang area, and here we have this Daulat Beg Oldie, and here we have Leh, and here we have this Galwan, and here this is a part of Ladakh, and here this line which is LAC, line of actual control. Okay, so if you're talking about one more important diagram, here this is our line of actual control. This is Aksai area, and here we can see here this is our Karakoram Pass. So if you have this Daulat Beg Oldie here, we can have easily we can easily connect with Leh here, right? And even here we can if this Dipsang Plains which are mainly occupied by this China means, so it will also have India will lose control to have a look in this Karakoram Pass as well. Okay, so this is about this topic, and now let us move on to next topic. Title says 3 metros witnesses faster COVID-19 spread. So those 3 metros includes Mumbai, Kolkata and Bangalore. So here R value it is reproduction number. So this reproduction number which is above 1. Okay, so here we need to know about what is this R value or what is this reproduction number. So this will be important from your prelims. And now let us try to see context. If you see context, it mainly says that Mumbai's R value which reflects how rapidly COVID-19 pandemic is spreading. So in Mumbai now this R value which is more than 1. So now let us try to see some important details. R value which mainly refers to reproduction number. So reproduction number means infected person is there, right? So he is the infected person. So this infected person will have capability to transmit this disease. So how many members he can infect? So that number it is called as reproduction number. So if R value is very much small means it is very much advantage because he can spread or infect disease to less than 1 person. And if it is more means capability of that person to infect, number of person will be increased. Okay, so if you see whenever this R value which is greater than 1 means the number of people who are infecting it is very much high in each round technically, and this is called as epidemic phase. So epidemic phase, when we can say whenever this R value is more than 1, we can say it is epidemic phase. And next one is the increase in the R value of Mumbai, which mainly comes at the time when the number of COVID-19 cases in the city have seen upward trend. So whenever there is increasing of number of COVID-19 cases, and we also saw there is R value which is increasing. So what might be the reasons? Now we are celebrating this Navaratri festival, that is Dasara. So during this Navaratri, especially in Maharashtra, one folk dance, it is related to this Navaratri, that is Garba, right? So we can also relate history in this point of view. Then you can also cover static portion as well. So this is the good approach actually. Whenever we are seeing any topic, we have to see in a multi-dimensional manner. So in this way we can cover UPSC syllabus easily. So here during this Navratri festival we can also see Garba dance that is famous in Maharashtra, Gujarat, etc. Right? So here what happened, whenever government is allowing for this religious congregations or religious gatherings, so this is the one important cause for increasing spread of this COVID-19 pandemic. And next one is, even in Delhi also we are seeing there is a high number or increasing of this R value which is more than 1. It is also one cause of concern. And now let us move on to our basics, that is what is this R value. So R value is also known as R naught or R factor or number. So it is nothing but effective reproductive number of a virus. So that is the number of people who can infected person will pass on virus to. That means infected person, how many person can be infected or affected, or we can say this person will transmit this virus to how many persons. For example, if you are talking about measles, so it is a highly contagious infectious disease and R number will be more than 10. That means the infected person can transmit or can infect other 10 members with this measles. So this is about this topic. And now let us move on to next important topic, that is about our QES data. QES mainly stands for Quarterly Employment Survey. So title says the many questions arising from this QES data. So here we need to understand what is this QES data. So which is the organization which is releasing this data, and what are the key findings of this data, and what are the concerns. So in this way we can easily cover multi-dimensional manner, which is important from our UPSC point of view. So this article will be important from our economy especially. So if you are talking about why it is in news, because Labor Bureau released results of this All India Quarterly Establishment Based Employment Survey, that is Quarterly Employment Survey for first quarter of financial year 2021, that is from April to June. So April to June employment survey, which is mainly released by this Labor Bureau. You have to remember this Labor Bureau. And here which are the sectors surveyed? So mainly includes manufacturing sector, construction, trade, transport, education, health, accommodation, restaurants, information technology, and BPOs, business process outsourcing, and some financial services. So these are the surveyed sectors by this Labor Bureau. And now let us try to focus on what are the key findings of this study. So first one is, so this study estimated that there is growth of 29% in total employment. So in total employment there is 29% of growth that is seen in 9 selected sectors when we are comparing with 6th economic census. So there is 29% of total employment growth. And next one is employment fell post lockdown on July 1st, 2020. So due to this lockdown which imposed in our country in March 2020, so after this lockdown, that is in post lockdown, so there is increasing of employment loss. And this report says that so most of them they came back by first quarter of 2021. And now let us try to focus on some concerns. I came up with 4 to 5 concerns that you can easily remember. So first one is, so this survey which mainly came up with limited coverage. So if you are talking about, if you are going towards this formal establishments, so you have to know difference between what is this formal and informal sector, and let me know in comment box. You have to know about this, what is this formal sector and what is this informal sector. So if you are talking about formal establishment, which mainly accounts for a small proportion of non-agricultural establishment. So if you are talking about different sector, we are having agriculture sector and as well as non-agriculture sector. So in this non-agriculture sector, we are having formal sector and as well as informal sector. So in this non-agriculture sector, if you are comparing with formal, informal sector, it is very, very high, right? So we have a limited coverage of this survey. So if you are talking about informal sector, according to this Periodic Labour Force Survey, that is PLS, Periodic Labour Force Survey 2018-2019, so it mainly says that about 81.3% of people, they are working in unorganized or informal sector. So if you are leaving this informal sector, means you are covering just a small amount of people who are working. And next one is with a limited coverage. This QE is based on data for formal sector, which cannot provide total picture of employment dynamics. So if you are leaving this informal sector and if you are focusing only on formal sector, so informal sector mainly includes 80% and you are doing survey on just 20% of people. So because of this, we can say it is a limited coverage. And next important one is major deviation from other reports. So whatever the key findings that are seen in this report, it is majorly deviated from other reports. For example, CMIE report, we discussed about this, right? So this CMIE report, that is Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, which mainly shows that April 2020, 12.1 crore workers, they lost their jobs. They are mostly informal, but informal they are not covered here. And about 9.1 crore job loss occurred almost amongst small traders and casual laborers. It mainly not included here. So unemployment rate by current weekly status, which has increased from 9.1% before lockdown to 28.5%, 20.8%. So in this way, the data which is seen in this QS survey, it is not matching with other reports. And next one is methodology shortcoming. So whatever the methodology they used, it is outdated methodology. So mainly they went for telephonic conservations. And next one is they did not include latest units. So the new QES has a sample of approximately 11,000 establishments, but it will not include the setups which had after 2013. So establishments of this, some establishments which already happened after this 2013, they are not included. And next one is this survey which is mainly done through telephonic conservations but not physical thing. And next one is sample collected with a very short reference period. So this is also one cause of concern. So the questionnaires of this survey, they ask establishment about employment details for a specific quarter, not earlier. So because of this, so these are some important concerns regarding this. And next topic we are going to discuss, it is about a homecoming. So this is about Air India. So till now we didn't discuss this topic. I waited for this editorial itself. So after once editorial is coming, then we are going to discuss this topic. So that thing I thought, and now we are going to discuss about this Air India. So what is the important thing that you need to remember and that you need to focus, we are going to discuss every point. So first and the foremost thing here is, if you see after 68 years, Air India is all set to return to Tata. So after 68 years, again this Air India, okay, return to Tata itself. So in this recent deal, so what are the important provisions of this recent deal? So in this recent deal, Tata will own 100% of stake in this Air India, and Tata will also has 100% in its international low cost arm Air India Express. So here in this international low cost arm also there will be 100% of this Tata's. And next one is there is 50% of Tata in ground handling joint venture. So this is about deal. And if you see, there are about 141 planes, and these planes will have the networks about 173 destinations. So out of this 173 destinations, there are about 55 international ones. Okay, Tata will also have ownership of iconic brands, for example Air India, Indian Airlines, and as well as Maharaja. So this is about this deal. And if you are talking about history of India, so history will be very important. If you see previous this year's prelims, so most of the facts that mainly came. So because of this, you need to focus on history as well, because we can't predict UPSC. So the prominent industrialist J.R.D. Tata founded this airline in year 1932, and at that time this airlines named as Tata Airlines. And later on, after India got independent, so here in this Tata Airlines, in government had 49% of stake in this stake here. And later on in 1946, this aviation division of this Tata Sons was listed as Air India. And later on in 1948, Air India International was launched with flights to Europe. So international flights started here. And later on in 1953, Air India was nationalized. Nationalization of airlines that happened in 1953. and after that, after 40 years, okay, that is 4 decades, it remained as a prized possession for India, controlling the majority of domestic airspace. And if you see why, what is the reason behind selling of this Air India? So there is the end of monopoly. So because of economic liberalization, now there is increasing of private sector participation, right? So the dominance of this government has been decreased because of this economic liberalization. And whenever the government which is running this airline means ideologically also, it is not a good sign. And this one is the continuous losses which is faced by this Air India since 2007 onwards. And mainly to reduce the losses here, Air India also merged with Indian Airlines. And this one is because of this losses, that is also leading to wastage of taxpayers' money. So because of all these reasons, Air India mainly sold. These are the reasons behind that. So if you say what is the significance? So first one is disinvestment. So disinvestment mainly reduces the role of government here. Then the private sector, they can take their own decisions. And this one is easing the burden on taxpayers. So till now, whatever the taxpayers' money which mainly used here, that will be reduced. And next one is it will be coming under the part of our economic reforms as well. And next one is it will also lead to investment boost. Okay, private sector, they will come and they will do investment. So in this way, here we can also give some boost for these investments. So this is just of this topic, and I hope it is clear. And one thing is, there are 3 previous questions, that is about money multiplier, right to privacy, and as well as constitutional government. So you can see these questions. So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to especially share this video to your friends as well. Thank you so much.